Hello, sixth graders. Today we are learning about the coordinate plane. Our learning target I can identify and name features of the coordinate plane. Now you should have this note template split screened right now. So either if you don't, pause, go get the note template from Schoology, put it in Notability and split screen, or you can print it and use it that way. But you need to write on this template as you're going through the video. There's a lot of like graphs and images and stuff that it would be just a lot easier for you if you have the template ready. Okay, so there's a lot of vocab here for you to know. So I'm just gonna go through and point it out and kind of explain what it all means. So I'm gonna start here with the y-axis. So on our coordinate grid, the y-axis is this line right here that goes vertically. It goes up and down. Okay, that's the y-axis. The x-axis, that's this one right here, it goes horizontally. Okay. And notice that if we go up on the y-axis, it's positive. If we go down on the y-axis, it gives us negative numbers. To the right on the x-axis is positive, and to the left is negative. Right in the middle, where the x and y-axis meet, that's called the origin. And a point for it is 0, 0. It's the beginning spot. Next, in ordered pair, this is a pair of numbers, such as 3, -2, that we would use to locate a point in the coordinate plane. So we could find this point based on those numbers. Now, the really important part about these ordered pairs is knowing what the numbers represent. So the first number that's listed is always the x-coordinate, and that corresponds to the number on the x-axis. So 3 in the x, for the x-coordinate would tell us that we are here, 3 on our x-axis. The -2, that is our y-coordinate. It corresponds to the number on the y-axis. So we would find where -2 is here on the y-axis. And then we could find where those points meet, and that's how we would plot a point. But we'll get more into plotting in a little bit. So now we can look and see how this coordinate plane is broken down, and we can break it down into 4 quadrants or 4 sections. The first one is everything in this area right here. That's quadrant number 1. And notice it's written with a Roman numeral. Okay. Now we go counterclockwise, which means backwards of how a clock goes. So we are going in this direction, and this area here, anything in this area is quadrant 2, again shown with Roman numerals. Continue going counterclockwise, we get to quadrant number 3. So anything that would be plotted in that area would fall into quadrant 3, again shown with Roman numeral III. And then continuing counterclockwise, anything plotted in this area would be quadrant 4 with the IV for our Roman numeral. And then if we keep going, we are back to quadrant 1. So it's very important to know those quadrants and where points fall. Okay, so again, ordered pair. This is how we plot points. The first number goes with the x coordinate, and then the second number, that's the y, and it's always second. So it will always be x, y. So some information down here for you to note. The x-coordinate tells you how far to move on the x-axis, left or right. So this first number, okay, we have a 2, that would tell us that we're going to move to the right 2. Because it's a positive, we move to the right. If it were a negative number, we would move to the left. The y-coordinate, so the second number, tells us how we move on the y-axis, up or down. Again, if it were a positive number, we would go up on the y-axis, and if it was negative, we would go down on the y-axis. So in this example 2, 8, this would tell us that we are going right 2, up 8. Okay, so just knowing what those numbers represent and how they tell us to move on our coordinate plane. Next thing is looking at the signs of the quadrants. So again, remember we were talking about the different quadrants, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Depending on where the points are plotted on our graph, it will, like depending on which quadrant it is in, it will tell us how our numbers are going to be. So up here we have quadrant number 1. Anything plotted in this area will have a positive x coordinate and a positive y coordinate. So everything up there in that first quadrant is going to be both positive numbers. Okay. Again, we go counterclockwise, so next we're here on quadrant 2. Anything plotted in that one, the x coordinate is going to be a negative number, and all of the y coordinates are going to be positive. Okay. Continuing on this way, this is quadrant 3. Anything plotted in this quadrant is going to have both negative x and y. We're going left and down, which are negative. So everything in quadrant 3 will be both negative x and y. Okay, next quadrant 4, which is IV. Everything in this one will have a positive x coordinate and a negative y coordinate. Okay. So our question here, where will a point whose order pair contains 2 negative numbers be located? Well, the only one that has both negative x and y is in quadrant number 3. Okay. So that's all for the coordinate plane. Go back to Schoology, look at the folder for today, and there is a identifying parts of the coordinate plane check-in that you need to take. Use these notes as you are taking it to help you. Save and title these notes so that they're easy to find within your Notability. Okay.